I'm Alex.
And I'm Teddy.
And we are
The Button Mappers.
Hey, the Button Mappers. Welcome to the Button Mappers. How about that as the intro? That was pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, it's totally original, right? I'm sure you don't hear...
Usually I start off with some kind of clever quip about how we're the only show that does such and such or something like that. But, you know, today we're just the Button Mappers.
that's the fact. We are the Button Mappers.
And, dude, it's time for another episode of Game Talk. Holy shit, dude. We haven't done a Game Talk in what seems like a forever. Well, for us, from our point of view.
Yeah, definitely. And it is one of my favorite series. I know you like it as well, so.
Yeah, I know. I see. We did by the time we're recording this, the last Game Talk hasn't been out too long, but we recorded that like weeks ago. So.
Yeah, that was funny how that worked because we had just done so much SEGA content that we were like, oh, just push the Game Talk back. You know, we'll post it later.
Yeah, just keep pushing. Yeah, then like by the time I posted, we were like, when are we going to do another Game Talk? It's like, well, we still have one to put out. Oh, shit.
The good news is that this one will be up the next Monday, so.
Yay. And then hopefully some more content.
Absolutely. And we got some games to talk about. But before we do, we like to open with the viewer questions. Shout outs to everyone that's ever left us a question as regards to gaming. And, you know, we're happy to address your questions on subsequent episodes of Game Talk.
Game Talk.
Game Talk.
What's our question? Who's our question? Where's our question? Why is our question?
And the last time on Game Talk, Spencer, I presume, came in under the moniker The Itch Network. We love and appreciate you, Spencer. Well, at least I do.
I don't.
His question, opinions on the new Switch handheld. And by that, I presume he means the Lite.
Yeah, what the fuck Spencer? Listen, man, the Switch is already a handheld, so you gotta be more specific with that.
Well, Alex, have you seen the Lite?
I actually have not.
Have you seen pictures of the Lite?
I've seen videos about the Lite, but I have not seen one in person.
What do people say about the Lite before we get to our opinions?
I'm not, I don't know. I haven't really followed it too much because I'm not too interested in the unit as a Switch owner, but I think mainly people are just like, oh, that's cool.
Mm-hmm. I watched a podcast or a portion of it on Nintendo Voice Chat, which is basically the IGN of Nintendo.
Yeah.
And they were hyping the thing up. I don't know what the deal is there. They seem to like it as a handheld unit. From what I understand, some of the primary complaints about the Switch Lite are potential Joy-Con drifting, and if that happens, that you have to send your whole unit back to Nintendo to repair, as opposed to just getting a second pair of Joy-Cons. They said that they weren't really coming into any issues with it, and that as a model, the Switch Lite just feels more, how should I say, authentic, I guess, as a handheld than the standard Switch model does. One comparison they made was they compared the Switch Lite to the DS Lite, versus the Switch versus the original DS. What do you feel about that?
It looks pleasing aesthetically. Like when I see it, I see pictures of it, I'm like, that looks nice. Like that looks like a good, nice, clean handheld. That comparison to the DS, I don't know if that's fair because I don't think the Switch, the original Switch, has the hindrances that the original DS had. Like the original DS is almost like archaic compared to the DS Lite or the DSi, but the original Switch still works pretty well for handheld, and like it's not like it's that much bigger than the Lite. I think it is bigger, but not by that much. So, I don't know if that comparison is really necessary, but because the Switch is still a good handheld on its own. But I think the light looks nice. That's that's my takeaway from most of this, because I'm not really interested in buying one myself.
I think that's fair, and I think also, I like that you kind of challenged that comparison. You challenging it made me think, well, is it even fair to say that the Switch Lite is the DS Lite of the Switch? Because the Switch Lite takes away the Switch's biggest feature, which was originally everyone's primary complaint against the thing, that it does not switch to the TV. Yeah,
I mean, you can argue that maybe it adds battery life, and that's one of the biggest things or something, But yeah, it's I would compare it more to the 2DS, honestly. It's more of a stripped down version of the previous console,
That's valid. I think that's a apt comparison. And they did release that recent rendition of the Switch that does have extended battery life, so you don't even have to get the Switch Lite to get that.
The Switch Lite I think is nice for people that just know that they only want to play handheld games or something, But it's like, I don't. For one, that's not me, and that's not me. But it just kind of loses part of the appeal for me for the Switch itself, the ability to be playing it at home on the TV, and then I have to go to work, or I have to go do this thing, and then grab it off the dock and take it with you and keep playing the same game. It kind of breaks that illusion, and it's just like, it's just a handheld, it's just like playing games on any other handheld at that point.
And I am that person. I primarily play my Switch in handheld mode, but I still am not sold by the Switch Lite because I actually do have some games that require being set up to the TV, and I like having that option. Chantal and I play Super Mario Party together, and yes, they revised the Switch Lite so you can play it, but is that the same as playing Mario Party on the TV? I don't think anyone wants to huddle around the Switch in handheld, in non-docked mode, unless they absolutely have to.
I play primarily on the TV when I'm home. On a rare occasion, sometimes I'll play handheld, but usually I'm playing on TV. And I cannot imagine playing Smash Bros on that thing. Like the hand cramps I would get playing Smash Bros on that damn thing on the Switch Lite would not be pleasant, to me at least. But and also it kind of loses part of the fun for me of the fact that I can get, I like buying the different colored Joy-Cons. I like buying the different controller accessories for the console. I like buying all the different types of like third-party controllers that they always have out now, because they always have like themed controllers out. Like I have one that's Zelda themed, one that's Metroid themed, and one that's Mario themed. And it kind of loses part of that fun too, because it just, what are you gonna buy? Like a protective case? That's about it, I guess.
Sure. I think if I had to justify the Switch Lite, you said it's for people who primarily want to play in handheld mode, but I also think there's an audience for people who have a bit more money to spend and also have a decent Switch collection already.
Yeah, well, I can definitely see it for people that travel a lot. It's definitely a better, lighter option, Like, say you travel for work a lot and you already have a Switch at home and a lot of games. Like, it's probably a good investment.
Yeah. What do you think about the price point?
It's fair, especially taking away the features.
Okay. I think it's a bit expensive, $199. You could get an Xbox One for probably cheaper.
Yeah, but
you have an Xbox One.
But then you'd have an Xbox One, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, still, it's only like $100 cheaper, and I mean, you just lose some of the functionality. So, I guess if you're broke, if you're a broke college kid and you want to Switch, like, it's a better option.
I personally would prefer to take the Switch Lite out of the house than the standard Switch model, I think.
Why is that?
Well, in terms of protection, I already know that the original model is more valuable, and so I'd want to take better care of it. I wouldn't want it to like come with me out of the house. Yes, you can buy this stuff to, like the football case or whatever to keep it safe, but at the end of the day, I want to preserve my console. It's not like a Game Boy or a Game Boy Advance or a DS, which I could just replace cheaply.
Okay.
So a Switch Lite, I feel, would probably be better for that. Also, it's sleek. We had mentioned the design and everything. So
yeah, it does look nice. I like the colors that it comes in.
I do wish there were a few more colors. I would go some kind of like crimson red. What would your color of choice be?
Purple.
Purple.
Like dark purple.
Or even like the transparent Game Boy Color purple.
Ooh, dude, that'd be sick.
Would you buy that?
Or like the Game Boy Color. Oh god.
I think
dude,
I might be sold if they came out with a few more colors.
Ooh. So maybe one day, maybe one day I'll get a Switch Lite just to have one and play around with it.
Fair enough. Thank you, Spencer, for the question.
Fuck you, Spencer.
Well, that's Alex's perspective on it.
I'm on a rampage today.
Speaking of Rampage, we're actually not
playing
Rampage.
Rampage.
But we are talking about games. So we both have 2 games to talk about, and this is October, so we're trying to be a little thematic here, and it just kind of worked out that way. Do you want me to start? Or would you like to start, Alex?
Oh, Teddy, we've been doing this for how many episodes?
4 now.
You always start.
Well, I still like to give you the opportunity if you
No,
want
go
to take
ahead,
it.
man. You know what? I don't even want you to ask me. I just want you to jump right in.
All right, then let's jump. So, Castlevania is a series, and I have some experience with Castlevania, but not much. What's yours?
I love Castlevania. I haven't played a lot of the later titles, like the handheld games from like the DS, Game Boy Advance, those games. But I did play the classic games and up until like Symphony of the Night, and then I played a couple of the PS2 games. So that's my experience. But I absolutely love classic Castlevania. And I don't have too much experience with the Metroidvania styles, beyond Symphony of the Night, so I can't really commentate on that. But classic Castlevania is up my alley for sure.
Nice. You probably have more experience than me with it. I have dabbled in a few. I've finished 3 now. Originally, I finished the 64 version, which I know is your favorite.
Yeah, it's good.
It's a great one.
So good.
I like it anyway. I finished the NES one on the eShop, so I did kind of use some save states for that, but that was a toughie, the first one.
So what you're saying is that you're a cheater?
Yes. And I absolutely cheated through this next one too, but I'm so happy I did because, I've owned it. I've owned it on the Genesis, and now I finished it on the Genesis Mini, which is another topic for another day, but it's Mini Castlevania Bloodlines.
Yeah, dude, this is the Castlevania game that your mom wished they had. Because I don't know, I don't know what the hell is going with that.
Your mom wishes she had it so she could sell it at her garage sale, and even then, she would probably underprice it.
I think this is probably, in my opinion, the most underappreciated classic game. Everyone knows Castlevania 1 is good, and 2 is not, and 3 is cool, and 4 is awesome. But Bloodlines is one, maybe not the most underrated. I think maybe Rondo of Blood is the most underrated classic. But I think Bloodlines is one that definitely is overlooked a lot.
Yeah, and I think part of it's awareness. And, on the actual Genesis, if you want to collect a copy of Castlevania Bloodlines, you're going to be paying top dollar. I was lucky to get mine complete in box, but this is one of those sought after Genesis titles, and after playing it through, I can definitely understand why.
Yeah, well, it's just like it's one of those games like that one of those rare times where like a third-party game was exclusive to Genesis, and it's a big title. It's Castlevania,
And it's really polished. Like, this is a really competent platformer in so many regards. To me, some of the standouts are, the combat is very clever. there's a lot of clever ways that the developers program the levels, and even some certain cyclical elements, things that will repeat. They have some interesting twists on platforming. I know there's the famous part of level 6, which is, part of the screen is distorted, so half of it is like pushed forward, and it makes the platforming a real bitch. There's also some really cool mini bosses and bosses, and then just the entire aesthetic. You're traveling through Europe, and you hear this kind of eclectic array of OST. Part of it's some classic Castlevania remaster, but then there's also some very ominous and dark Gothic romantic themes. Those are some of the things I think of when I think of Bloodlines.
What do you think about the way the game plays, like the classic Castlevania formula?
Okay, there's a nice twist on that formula here. You have two character choices, John Morris and Eric Lagarde. Supposedly they are ancestors of the Belmont family. Don't quote me on that. That's just from the intro scene. But the Belmont family is cursed to always have to fight Dracula and his reincarnations, and the story is, consistent here. I love the options, and both characters play interestingly and have unique challenges in some of the stages, but not all. You're not really missing out if you play one character as opposed to the other. I will say though that John Morris uses the whip, which is the classic Castlevania item, while Eric uses the spear, and that has a bit more reach. I found it a lot more accessible to play as Eric, and also he can aim his spear diagonally when on the ground, which is not something Morris can do with the whip, surprisingly, so that makes it a little hard to play as him.
I know a lot of people have issues with this game because of it coming out. I think it came out after Castlevania 4, and Castlevania 4 kind of abandoned the NES, like the controls, I guess, and this one kind of went back to the NES controls. What do you think about that?
I think it plays great, and I think it also doesn't have a lot of the issues that I remember from Castlevania 1. What I remember from Castlevania 1 are some annoying-ass Medusa heads that, just kept respawning and making every, portion of certain stages, annoying. They were just really frustrating. But this game doesn't feel frustrating. It's almost like, what am I going to see next? There's a checkpoint system, so each level/stage is broken into like sections, and the game is very fair. You can start with 3 credits and 5 lives, giving you a total of 15 lives. In case you die, you have a health bar, and there are certain sections where you get the roast beef in the wall. There's not many, so it makes it a nice challenge, but the game is very fair in spite of having that classic feel, and I don't actually mind that. I think that's a testament to the potential that Castlevania has and shows on the NES. It shows that formula does still work.
Yeah, I never minded the NES the classic feel. I know there's a lot of people that love Castlevania 4. I love Castlevania 4. Don't get me wrong, but I've never minded the classic feel, the classic controls and stuff. Even though there is a little bit of annoyance with the kickback when you hit like an enemy or something. Like that can kind of be hard for platforming, especially if you're trying to do some jumps and somebody hits you in the midair and it kind of throws you back off the platform, So yeah, that can be a little annoying, but I've never minded that game feel.
I will say that you're absolutely right. When you play as John with the whip, there's a couple sections where you just really wish you had that extra reach with the whip that Eric has, and if you get hit like on stage 4 in the Berlin factory on the rotating pistons, I think that's what you call them in our Sonic the Hedgehog map out.
Yeah.
If you try and hit one of the skeletons that throws that wrecking ball, you can't reach him, so you have to jump on the platform and try and get him, and when he hits you, he knocks you off. I must have died like 6 times when trying to do a no save state run.
Nice. So, Teddy, did you say what you played this on?
The Mini, the Genesis Mini, which...
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I don't want to say much about the Mini because I want to save that for another video, but I will say it plays fine. We've been hearing a lot of criticisms of the Genesis Mega Drive Mini. I have the Japanese version. I have no problems with. There's been no lag. There's been no sound delay. There's been no any of that. I played it twice, and the save states are beautiful. I own this on the original Genesis, and I never finished it, despite there being a password system.
Those save states, man, because I just got the North American version of the Mini last night, and I haven't had time to really play much yet. But I'm going to, and the save state feature is going to help me a lot. I'll probably play through Bloodlines. I'll probably play through some of the other games that are just so damn hard that it's hard to progress past a certain point, especially by yourself. If they're co-op games. So it'll be nice to kind of use that. And Bloodlines is definitely one of them that I'm looking at playing.
Do you remember the levels that much from this game?
No, it's been a while. I know I kind of played it for a minute on the Castlevania collection on my Switch. I do remember the one level I do remember the most is the one you mentioned with kind of like the screens all distorted. I know that one very well because that's a really iconic one.
There's, iconic is a great word to use because I would say stages 2, 3, and 6 are just iconic in the umpteenth degree. I'm really hurting to do a map out on this game. I hope that you finish it, Alex, so we could talk about it.
Well, I'll have to give it a go on the Mini.
Yes. I'm going to save any more talk about that. And, please let us know in the comments if you'd be interested in a map out of Castlevania Bloodlines.
Dude, Castlevania is fucking rad.
The best. I mean, this really made me want to play more of the series. Like, now I want to play that Super Nintendo version. Now I want to play those handheld ones on the GBA, on the DS, because there's quite a legacy with these games.
On the 64.
I would play that one. I'd play it over.
God.
There's 2 of them.
Lord. Save me.
How about you, Alex? What you been playing?
All right, so I've been playing Mortal Kombat 11.
Dun 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 dun. Can you fight?
And I know this doesn't really fit maybe the Halloween theme, but it fits the dark, violent theme I guess that Castlevania has. So.
I'm sorry, which Mortal Kombat?
11.
11.
Motherfucking 11, dude.
Is that the most recent one, or is there 12? I don't remember.
No, that's the most recent one. It came out back in April, 11. And I've been playing it.
Okay.
I bought it day one, and I've been playing it since. But I kind of took a break, and I just kind of picked it back up recently. Dude, I've been playing Mortal Kombat forever, and I've played almost every single game except for Special Forces, because fuck that game. But, but I'm a huge Mortal Kombat fan.
How does this one hold up to you as a Mortal Kombat fan?
It's good. I definitely like it maybe a little bit more than I liked Mortal Kombat X whenever I got it with the PS4. It's definitely a good fighting game. It's definitely a really solid Mortal Kombat experience. I think at this point maybe they are lacking a little bit of freshness, because it feels like Mortal Kombat 9 came out and kind of reinvigorated the series. X came out and it was fun, but it kind of it felt more like more of the same. And 11's good, but again, it kind of just feels like more of the same.
I played X for a little bit and I gave up on it. Some of my primary complaints are that there wasn't a lot of characters. I know they did come out with the XL.
Yeah.
That was one. And then I tried the story mode, but it was absolute garbage. I mean, maybe it's cool to some people, but I was just bored out of my face. How do you feel 11 handles those two things?
For one of the characters, we'll talk about that last because I have a lot of complaints. The story mode, I'm like I said, long-time Mortal Kombat fan. I've been playing since since I started playing Mortal Kombat. I think first game I played was 4 on the 64. Then I went back and played the older games, and I played the PS2 games and stuff. So I've been following the story forever. And as a fan who knows all the characters, knows all the backstories, knows all that worthless knowledge, the story mode appeals to me, and that's probably who the story mode's meant for, is just hardcore fans that like the Mortal Kombat lore. I can definitely see if you're not into Mortal Kombat, you're like, oh, why should I care about this ninja fighting this other ninja? You know, it's just, it's kind of boring for people that don't like aren't that super into the series like that.
I loved the story for Deception.
Yeah, they really stepped it up for like fighting game stories. I feel like Mortal Kombat has like one of the richest lores, because you look at something like Street Fighter and you're like, what? Wait, hold on, who's the what? There's what? And then this guy's bad, and then Ryu, and then there's evil Ryu, I guess, and then like that guy died and came back. What is happening? But like Mortal Kombat has always been pretty consistent with keeping its story. It's sharp and easy to understand, and I feel like 11 still does this.
What are some of the highlights for 11?
Definitely I love the character customization. That's one of the biggest things, is that you can say your favorite character is Johnny Cage, and you want to use Johnny Cage, and you want to use certain moves. Like in X, they would give you a choice between like 3 different move sets. But in this one, you can go in and customize your own and kind of mix and match, and also change their costumes and gear and kind of give them certain attributes, and it really like helps you to take your favorite characters and really make them your own. So it kind of helps me out for characters like I play like Baraka a lot, or Sub-Zero or Nightwolf. I can really go in and change those characters around to fit my playstyle.
How does it compare to other fighting games this generation?
Mortal Kombat is always hard to compare to other fighting games because it's definitely, like, mechanic-wise, it's definitely not the sharpest. It's always felt a little chunky, I guess is the word to say. Like the movement, the jumping, just like everything. It's not as smooth as something like Tekken or something like Street Fighter. But that's not why you're here. You're here to get violent. That's why you're here, man. You want to cut somebody in half. Like.
Give me
Sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say, give me your best fatality impression.
What like impression of like?
Oh, just saying it, or any word
or like
for
finish him or something like that.
Yeah.
Or Toasty. I like Toasty.
I always thought you say whoop-dee.
Whoop-dee. The things I didn't like about this game. Let's go back to the roster. I feel like they played it super safe. There's, I think in total, the original roster, not counting whatever DLC comes out. At this time, the only DLC out is Nightwolf and Shang Tsung. There's only 3 new characters, which is a little lacking. I don't know if that's because X had like all new characters pretty much. Like they had some returning, but there's a lot of new characters in X. And I don't know if that's why they cut back in this one for the new characters, but it definitely shows when you're playing, because it's kind of, you're like, oh, I've used Baraka or Cabal or Kano for the 100th time. The 3 new characters they have aren't really that great either. I don't feel like they're staples that are going to stay around. They did bring back some of the cast from X, and that's cool, and there's a lot of the original cast comes back and stuff, but there's lack of new characters, and there's a lack of the PS2 era characters, which I absolutely love the PS2 era characters for all their dumb glory, and they refuse to bring those characters back.
That's annoying to me, because I remember playing Armageddon, and it had every character, and I thought that was the coolest thing. What do you think about Mortal Kombat games bringing all of the characters?
I feel like now it'd be hard with all the mechanics and stuff to bring every character. Like that'd take them forever. But I would definitely like for them to change up the variety, because how many times can we have the same stories in the same game where we just play as Liu Kang, Raiden, Sonya, Johnny Cage, whoever, so and so, again and again and again. I would like to switch up the cast a little more. Keep a few of those classic characters. Like you need Scorpion. You need Sub-Zero. You need Liu Kang. You need Raiden, but Johnny Cage. But maybe like take away some of the characters that we don't necessarily need, and kind of maybe either bring us give us new characters or bring back some of the PS2 era characters.
So I take it that's what you want from the next Mortal Kombat game.
Yeah, that's my only big issue with 11. Other than that, I really liked the story mode. It was fun. It's like a time travel-esque story mode. It's so like you get to see like younger versions of the characters interact with older versions of the characters, which is funny. I like the online is fun, not only because you can play online like battle, but you can also customize your characters to fight AI, so you can put together like an AI team and kind of like program them to like, okay, this character's going to work, do combos and zoning. This character's going to do grapples, so it really kind of like does that, and you can go on and fight other AI teams, and it's kind of fun. I like that. The Crypt is back, and the Crypt is awesome. It's like a full single player game pretty much by itself, and you earn a lot of money for doing that. There's the Living Towers, which are like daily challenges that change every day. There's the arcade towers, which is just a classic arcade spiel. There's of course local multiplayer. There's a lot to offer here. It's a pretty beefy fighting game experience. Yeah, the roster is just the one thing for me that's just kind of keeping this from being like my favorite. But for fans that love the classic games and that haven't played a Mortal Kombat game in a while, yeah, pick this up.
All right. Well, you heard it here first.
So, I could try to describe some of the fatalities, but I don't want to get too brutal.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it'd be a little difficult on a audio platform, but
I will say that there's one with one of the new characters. I think his name's Geras. He's like a time traveling, like entity. One of his fatalities involves him. Towards the end of the fatality, he slaps the back of your head so hard that the front of your face just flies off and your brain like comes out, and it's like one of the funniest things I have ever seen.
Are they still doing easy fatalities?
I think that's still a thing. I don't know why you do that, because they literally like it's not like the old games where you have to figure out the fatalities. They literally just you can pause it and go to the moves and it shows you the button input. So I don't know why you would even need to do that.
I always had trouble pulling them off, regardless if I had the moveset or not. You have like 2 seconds to insert like a 5-button input. So, I mean, while I kind of like appreciate getting to see them, I always thought there was something cool about unlocking like a fatality by like pulling off this really cool maneuver.
Whenever I was younger, and like I said, my first Mortal Kombat game that I owned myself was Mortal Kombat 4. And whenever I was younger, I wasn't really good at the game, and I didn't know how to, I didn't have friends that knew the fatalities, like anything, and I couldn't figure them out. So I used to, no joke, I used to go in and let the computer beat me in the hopes that they would do a fatality, and every once in a while they would, and it would just blow my mind. So, literally blow my mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mortal Kombat, fight or whatever.
Fatality. That was my impression.
Button mapperality. Put that in the next one, guys.
Yeah, exactly. That's our game talk. Let us know what you've been playing.
Yeah, have you played Castlevania Bloodlines or Mortal Kombat 11? Or Clue Land, or anything,
Preferably not. Preferably just aware of it by this point.
Do you think we can go an entire episode without bringing up Clue Land?
We almost did until you brought it up.
Well, it's gotta, it just happens.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, well, there's no escape.
There's no escape from Clue Land.
Maybe it was like a mistake. Maybe they were releasing like Mario Land, and then oops, we just shout out Clue Land.
I think maybe it was more of maybe they had a big game for release, like they were like, okay guys, here's Mario Bros, whatever, it's gonna be the greatest game. Hey boss, I accidentally deleted the game. What? We have a game. It's supposed to ship today. What do we do? We have that thing that one of the interns was making. Hey Bob, what are you making over there? Oh, it's just a little prototype I was making called Clue Land. Oh, it's okay. Need some work. No, it's fine. We'll just put it on a cartridge. We need something out today. Oh, it's it's not really done yet. Oh, no. Come on. It's fine. We'll just put it out there. And then that's the birth of Clue Land.
Yes, and so children everywhere were misled and sold on a faulty premise, and Clue Land is the curse that keeps on cursing to this day.
Can we just change our podcast to Clue? I like to acknowledge that as much as we talk about Clue Land, we never get any comments about Clue Land.
Yeah. It's a sad thing.
Like, does anybody enjoy this joke, or do we just enjoy the joke, and that's why we keep doing it?
Yeah, so we welcome all feedback.
Should we stop talking about Clue Land?
Oh man, I hope so. Please spare me.
Well, I guess this is the end of the game talk, man. It's sad to go.
I know. I enjoy these so much. The best thing you could do is, since we are on YouTube currently, like, comment, subscribe, etc. I hate to drop that on you, but we are starting off small and we're looking to grow. I'm really shooting for that 100 subscriber mark. I really want that custom URL.
Oh yeah, that's our goal right there.
Yeah, that's our current stretch goal. And Alex and I made a deal about when we're going to start releasing these on a podcasting platform, and it's either 50 videos or 100 subscribers, whichever comes first.
And I don't know how many videos we have so far. Do you
know? Currently it's like just over 10. I know we have 7 intellectual discourses. I know we're killing it in that department, but game talks, I think this is 4th, and map outs, it'll be 3 eventually.
Yeah. I'm currently working on the other one.
Yeah. So look forward to that, y'all. That'll be a good map out.
Yeah. I don't want to give you any hints, but it's gonna definitely be an adventure.
It'll be and it'll be pretty super, if I do say so myself.
Yeah. Some could say it's just going all over the place.
Mm-hmm. Especially to the Mari hole.
Stop talking, Teddy. You're going to ruin it.
It's 37 minutes in. Do you think anyone's still listening?
Yeah, somebody does. Clearly somebody does. Because, we have comments that are like... I think Spencer just comments as he's listening. Because he'll leave 5 comments. And I later realize he's just leaving him as the video goes on.
It's smart, though, because otherwise you can forget. It's hard to comment on a podcast, I find.
And then Terry always leaves me a book.
Which is nice. I do look forward to Terry's essays.
Yeah, so usually if I'm on the toilet or something, I have something good to read,
Yeah. Well, appreciate both of them. Appreciate everyone. Appreciate listeners at home. Those of you who commented. Also leave us a question for next Game Talk.
Please,
the more,
please.
the merrier.
Questions are important for Game Talk. Game Talk needs questions to survive.
Mm-hmm. Even though we are the button mappers, part of our map includes questions. So,
thanks for watching and listening and using your 2 of your senses, I guess. Well, you're not really watching; you're more listening. But
we do make some beautiful channel art.
It's beautiful.
Yeah,
gotta put it up in a museum.
Yeah, we'll make an archive one day. A little scrapbook.
Yeah. It's like a little art book you could order online, and it's just really bad clip art.
Have a bunch of little anecdotes. On this day, we did the Banjo-Kazooie map out.
Why do you sound like a really concerned mom or something? Oh, honey, have you eat your dinner?
I am concerned. I want people to pre-order the scrapbook.
The Banjo-Kazooie map out.
Yes.
Oh, honey.
Have you heard the Banjo map out?
Oh well. I feel like we're just dragging on at this point.
A little bit.
All right. Fuck Clue Land. Shinobi 3 is the best one. That's all I got.
Yeah. Keep mapping that map.
Spencer, You know what? I usually tell you not to comment, but I think today I'm gonna let you comment.
Mm-hmm.
Watch this be the one video he doesn't comment on.
Yeah, well, can't ask for too much.
All right. Well, I'm gonna go play my Switch heavy
Sounds good.
because it's not light; it's heavy.
Mm-hmm. Hey, Alex, lighten up.
That was pretty good. That was pretty funny.
That was all right, yeah. Cool.
That's fair.
Good talk.
Okay. Bye, everybody.
See you next time.
Hey y'all, don't forget to subscribe to them button mappers.